Y'all, when we are really believing in God to do a certain thing in our lives, we have to understand that that requires unwavering faith, unwavering belief for something that has not happened, believing in God to do something in our lives that has not probably been done before. And to a lot of people, you may come off as delusional. You may come off as crazy for even thinking a certain thing is possible to be done in your life. Having faith requires a level of delusion, okay? Because it's like I'm believing in God to heal me. My healing is going to come from God. A lot of people think I'm delusional. Doctors, pastors, family member, when I say everybody think I am delusional for thinking that God is going to heal me, for thinking that God promises will not come true. And I feel like a lot of people are trying to see how far I will take it. I'm going to take it as far as God need me to take it, because God gives promises to us. And God fulfill those promises that he has made to us. But it requires us to have unwavering faith. It requires us to believe and trust despite the obstacles or hurdles that's placed in front of us that's going to make us break that faith or give up on the promises that he has given us. It requires a level of delusion. And I feel like that's okay. I mean, that's what having faith is, believing in something and trusting into something that hasn't been done yet for you, that it will be done for you. Believing in miracles, believing in the impossible, believing in the unseen. Yeah, you might come off as delusional. And a lot of people have trusted God in certain things that, they were let down on, they was discouraged in because it did not happen for them. And I feel like it's important to know what we're believing and trusting God to do in our life and where that information is coming from. Sometimes our situation or circumstance we want to be out of is so bad that we trust and believe God to do it for us because it's our emotional desire that it wants God to do this for us. But sometimes it's not in God's will to do a certain thing. But God will reveal this to you. And I think it's important for people who truly have faith in God to know the difference. You cannot be delusional for something that's not in God's will, because you will find yourself being disappointed and discouraged and questioning and doubting God and his abilities because the thing that you wanted God to do was not being done for you. And you may come off as being discouraged, like, it wasn't meant or whatever, not, or God can do all things, especially in his will. But we have to have faith in God's will for us. Like, for example, I had a dog some years ago. And a few months after I got her, she was stolen. And she's been gone for months. But God kept promising me, she's coming back. I had dreams. She was coming back. I didn't see how this dog was coming back, right? And so there was some doubt, but God kept reminding me of his promise. God keeps his promise, right? I kept telling everybody, she's coming back. It's been months, 3 months. They like, this dog ain't coming back. Y'all, when I tell you she came back, right? Now, fast forward, she got out the gate, okay? And this time around, this time around, God told me, she's not coming back. But it's delusional of me to check Madak every single day in hopes that I will see her on that site, although it's not in God's will for her to come back. But that's a different type of delusion, okay? Because I'm hoping and wishing for something that God already revealed to me that was not going to happen. And sometimes we don't know the difference. You know, we know God's ability to heal. We know God's ability to bring forth life in certain situations. But sometimes, hold on, my bad. But sometimes we mistake God's ability to do certain things because he didn't do it for us, right? So that's why we need to really hear clearly and have a relationship with God so that we don't start wishing and hoping for things to happen that's not in God's will, that becoming delusional for things that's not in God's will. Because there's two different types of delusional here. Like, people think I'm delusional. Faith is like dang near a form of delusion, because I am hoping and wishing, well, I know God is going to do something for me, right? Because he promised me this. Delusion is my own hopes and desires being fulfilled that's outside of God's will. That's not God's will to do a certain thing. Just because he did it for another person does not mean it's meant for another person. And a lot of people is like, but why not? You know, have all these questions or whatever not. Apparently I'm talking too much because a sis is, okay, struggling. Let me wrap this up. We have to know what we're being delusional for. You know, we have to be delusional for things that is inside of God's will over our life. That is unwavering faith. But we have to know that God promised us to do a certain thing and he will come through with that promise. We have to be delusional on that. But we have to not be delusional on things that is not in God's will that we want done in our life, because it's going to make us, we think, place in a better situation. God, you know what? Okay, I'm done. All right, dog. Bye.